1974 marked the 5th year of existence for the San Diego Padres, and they were on the lookout for new talent. One of their area scouts, Jim Marshall, was holding a tryout down in Tampa, Florida to try and discover the next superstar. Amongst the dozens of hopeful amateurs, Marshall noticed a short, stocky second baseman with good hands and some serious speed and a thick head of dark hair. After the tryout, Marshall introduced himself to 21-year-old Rocky Perone, an Australian who had come to America and was looking for a shot at the big leagues. After talking it over with the young prospect, Marshall decided to offer Perone a contract with the San Diego Padres, paying him $500 a month and assigning him to their rookie ball team in Walla Walla, Washington. But there were a couple of issues with Perone that Marshall hadn't seen. His name wasn't Rocky Perone, he wasn't Australian, and that was not his real hair. Jim Marshall had actually signed Richard Pohle, a 36-year-old former semi-pro who was trying to become the oldest rookie to play professional baseball. And it looked like his plan had worked. Almost. Richard Pohle had always had a burning desire for baseball. As a kid, he'd always dreamed of being a professional ball player, but his talents never matched his ambition. He had received invitations to a handful of tryouts, but nothing ever materialized. Once he hit his 20s, reality started to set in. Pohle bounced around, working odd jobs and still playing in semi-pro leagues, but playing professional baseball is all he ever wanted to do, and he was determined to find a way to get there. In 1963, Pohle was in his late 20s and already had lost most of his hair, and was realizing that his chances of receiving another tryout were slim. But what if he could fake it? What if he could fake his age and lack of hair to fool a scout into signing him? It only took one, he thought. Before the internet, it wasn't difficult to fake your age. There was no baseball reference or Wikipedia to go quickly look up when somebody was born. The first of many schemes cooked up by Pohle began like this. Pohle was 27, but still had his baby face, and passed himself off as an 18-year-old, and actually received a spring training invitation with the Kansas City Athletics in 1963. He only lasted 13 games before being cut by then-manager Bobby Hoffman. Pohle was devastated and thought he had blown his last shot, and began drifting through life. He bounced around Canada and Australia playing in semi-pro leagues, still hoping to make it, but eventually ended up in California. After nearly a decade away from professional baseball, Rocky Perone, Pohle's alias that had landed him a tryout with the Athletics a decade before, was invited to a tryout by the Padres in Florida. Pohle was now 36 years old and passed himself off as a young 21-year-old. Not only did a 36-year-old Rich Pohle fool scouts into thinking he was 15 years younger, but he also had the ability to back it up. He was scouted as having quick hands and some serious speed, running a 6'7" 60 as a 36-year-old. Aside from his obvious skill set, how exactly did a balding Pohle pull off the look that he was 21? The first thing he took care of was his hair. He bought a big black wig of scruffy hair a la Pete Rose and never took it off. The hair that Pohle lacked on the top of his head he made up for on his face, which resulted in another problem: how to get rid of his facial hair. Pohle would shave at a minimum 2 times a day, sometimes up to 4, just to keep his clean, baby face look up. He would also take hot baths to open up his pores and applied a special cream to take the age and wrinkles out of his face. Surprisingly, this all worked out, and he had everybody fooled. And every day he would officially transform into Rocky Perone, a 21-year-old Australian with good hands, good speed, and a burning desire to play baseball. So Rocky Perone was signed in 1974 and assigned to the Padres rookie ball team in Walla Walla. After 3 weeks of riding the pine, Rocky Perone saw his name penciled into the lineup card for the first time, hitting in the 2-hole, playing second base. In his first professional at-bat, Rocky Perone drew a walk. He wasn't on first base for long, though, as he quickly stole second base and officially became a professional baseball player. Perone came up again in the 3rd inning and smacked a single up the middle to record the first and only hit of his professional career. A few innings later, Richard Pohle's cockiness would cost Rocky Perone his career. With a runner on second base, Perone went over to the bag and told the runner to move so he could adjust the base. These were the old school bags that moved when you slid into them. The runner obliged and took a few steps away so Perone could, assumingly, fix the bag. But he had a trick up his sleeve. Or, actually in his armpit. Perone had hidden the baseball in his armpit, pulled it out, and tagged the runner, much to the displeasure of the opposing team. Their manager exploded and raced onto the field to yell at both the umpire and at Perone. When manager Bobby Hoffman reached second base, he had recognized the man that he had cut from the Kansas City Athletics a decade before. But Richard Poole didn't care. He had made it to professional baseball, and recorded a hit and a stolen base as a 36-year-old rookie against kids who were less than half his age. Nowadays, he even has his own baseball reference page to show for his efforts, and is a successful coach in Southern California. The story of Rocky Perone is one of the most interesting and classic tales of minor league baseball, and something that is unlikely to ever happen again. But Richard Poole pulled it off and proved everyone wrong. He lived out his dream of playing professional baseball.